tuning in for the first time, this channel is about happiness, health, and wealth. Recently, we've been talking a lot about health because obviously that's most important for a lot of people. However, today we're talking about wealth, investing, and there's quite a lot of info. I love talking about this. Let me move my monitor over really quick, and then we'll get going. Okay, so I'm going to be monitoring this in another screen so that I can see your comments. And if you have any comments, then let me know in the comments section and I will get to the Q&A at the end. So I have a few bullet points that I'm going to hit on, and then I'll do the Q&A. So we're going to talk about what a short squeeze is, what's the deal with the GameStop. We're going to just quickly touch on that because it's been a few days and maybe you've already looked that up or you already know what's going on. So we're going to talk shortly about Wall Street bets, what's next, talking about the silver price, talking about the real silver price and the gold-silver ratio. We're going to talk about wealth cycles at the end, and that might be the most important thing that most people don't even know exists. And then I'm going to touch on some different types of silver investments at the end. So other than just a regular physical silver. So let's get into this. What have we got over here? Right here we've got the different prices for over here. Can you see? This is gold. Right below it is silver. Up here is the gold and silver ratio. And down here is platinum. Just to get an idea. So let's start with what is a short squeeze. Okay, so what's been going on with GameStop really quickly if you didn't know. And this has been happening for a few days. Basically what happened, I'm gonna just keep it really short. If you want more info on that, let me know in the comments or look it up because there's a lot of people coming out with whole videos just on that, just on GameStop. But this video is focusing on silver, but I do want to touch on what's going on with GameStop because it's what's waking everyone up to what's actually going on. So a short squeeze, basically in a nutshell, what happened with GameStop is that so many people shorted it, which, okay, what is shorting for the people that don't even know what shorting is? So there are ways on different programs, different platforms that you can sell a stock without even owning it. Or if you own a stock, shorting it is simply selling it. So if you already own it, it's simple to short something you just sell. But if you don't own it, you can get the option to sell and you don't even own anything. So without getting too confusing about that, and if you want to know what options are, look up options. Hello. Thanks for commenting, by the way. We've got people tuning in from all over the world. From Turkey, awesome, welcome. So what happened with GameStop is that so many people shorted it, they actually shorted over 100% of the stock. Which is, I'm chuckling because it's really interesting. So what happened is, in order to get rid of your short position, you have to buy. So let's say you got the option, you shorted it up here, and then the price tanked. Well, to end your option, you have to buy. So all these people were shorting GameStop, and then someone discovered this. And they started posting about it on WallStreetBets on Reddit. So they basically, on Reddit, they formed a group and they had a plan to fight back. And there's so many people shorting it. In order for them to end their short, they have to buy back in just to cancel the short. So this created a strategy for some really interesting people who know what's up and who started getting a group involved. So that's what was going on Reddit. If you want to check that out, actually, I have something pulled up. So there's a funny little meme I'm going to play. Somebody made this. This is the reddit.com/WallStreetBets. And I was just checking this out before, and you have kind of an idea of the people that were shorting GameStop were these hedge funds that were just trying to make tons of money. So people are basically trying to squash these hedge funds, and it's like like a real Robinhood story of the little guy like us trying to fight back against these giant hedge funds and other groups. And it looks like the little guy could win, or at least the little guy is totally disrupted this scam that they've got going on. And the same thing is going on, except on a bigger scale with silver. So we'll get to that shortly. I just want to play this with Wall Street Bets. So this is from the Pee-wee's Playhouse or something, but it's pretty funny. Thank you, whoever gave me a thumbs up, by the way. I appreciate that. Thank you. It helps YouTube to share this video. Okay, so here's this guy, Melvin. So there is a hedge fund named Melvin. So he says, my father can have whatever stock I want. And he says, you know what I want? No, I want your GameStop. So he falls on the floor cackling and says, it's not for sale, Melvin. So he says, everything's negotiable. He wouldn't sell his GameStop for all the money in the world, not for $1 million, billion, trillion. So then they go back and forth. So this is, Pee-wee is basically personifying all the little guys on Reddit that are going after these large institutions. And what they did, so once they found out that GameStop was heavily shorted, and it would create basically a feedback loop where in order for the people that shorted it to get out of their position, they have to buy. And when you buy, the price goes up. So all these people trying to buy and get out of their positions were getting squashed. And these little guys on Reddit are buying and holding and refusing to sell. That way they can't get out. They're trapping them. So as people are, well, I don't have the GameStop pulled up, but as people are trying to get out of their shorts, the price just rocketed, and it went up like $300, but it's not over yet because a lot of the people are saying they're going to hold out until $1,000 a share. So the fight is going on with the people that were shorting trying to get out of their position and the people that are screwing them basically and fighting back are holding out so until $1,000. That way the price, this is their goal, is to just jack it up all the way to $1,000 and liquidate the people out of their short positions. So for those of you that don't know, when you get into a short position that you don't own the stock, you're just shorting it without owning it, well, that money has to come from somewhere. So they borrowed it, basically. So these people are going to get liquidated, which means their account is going to get wiped out. And that's when the people in Reddit are going to win, when they take back over. So, okay, that's in a nutshell what's going on with GameStop. Now, what's going on with silver? This, and I've been to give you some background, I've been studying silver, or at least keeping up to date with it, for over 10 years. I don't usually talk about this on my channel. Like I said, I talk about happiness, health, and wealth. And recently it's been all about health because that's what people need. And you can have all the money in the world, but if you're dead or sick, then you're out of luck. So that's what I was talking about. But someone said, not, wait, I saw your comment pop up and then it disappeared. So thank you for commenting, and I will bring it up on my other screen. Okay, so YouTube's limiting search results with silver Wall Street bets in it. Wow, really? No way. Interesting. Well, thank you for that tip. You rock. You're looking out for me. I appreciate that. So, that's very interesting. So, what someone just commented, for those who didn't see, is that YouTube is censoring to some degree or throttling down the silver Wall Street bets search term. So, you guys that are watching this somehow saw the video, but they might be trying to suppress this info. Go figure. I'm not surprised whatsoever. Okay, so someone, Growagon, nice to meet you, by the way. Thanks for the feedback. I appreciate that. So they said you still came up way down in the search with a raw, unsorted search. Wow, fascinating. Well, we could definitely get into the YouTube search, that and SEO. That's a whole very interesting game. I would love to do some videos on that. So basically what they're saying is that they're censoring this info from getting out there. Go figure. So, well, you're watching now, so you lucked out and found this video. So let's get into the meat of the video and what I actually want to talk about, which is, again, Wall Street Bets is a forum on Reddit where people are fighting back against these institutions, these giant players that are trying to just have total control over the market, manipulating the market. Now, here's what is very interesting with silver. Someone discovered GameStop and they told everyone. But how did they discover that GameStop was so heavily shorted? There's something else that's been heavily shorted, and it's silver. Now, this is what makes it even a bigger potential opportunity than GameStop. And here's a good place for a legal disclaimer. I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not a licensed financial planner or anything like that. I'm a life coach. I usually help people with their health, but I've been personally into this for over 10 years. So I'm into this for myself, and I just want to share information with you because it could, get the gears turning, and you can find out your own info. So don't go investing just because of what I said and then lose money and stuff like that. That's this legal disclaimer, is that just copying what someone said and trying to make money could burn you and you could lose everything. So be careful, but then again, do your own research. That's the point. And I encourage you always to do your own research with all the different videos I talk about. Okay, now that that's been said, silver is being heavily shorted. And this is the point that should get everyone salivating. There have actually been people that got caught manipulating silver. Someone just asked, do you think Melvin Capital is implementing mods on Reddit to make everyone do it? Ooh, wow. I didn't think of that. So, but that's interesting. I'm always thinking outside the box. So I encourage thought, which, isn't that popular these days. But, for investing, you got to think. You don't just copy someone else, like I just said. Very interesting point. I'm curious about that too. I'm going to think more on that later. But with the silver price, people have actually been caught manipulating it and been fined hundreds of millions of dollars. I thought at first it was 9 billion, but I think it was only 900 million. They were fined. JP Morgan, or was it Goldman or JP Morgan? I don't have that article pulled up, but this happened a few weeks ago where they were actually fined hundreds of, okay, JP Morgan, thank you. JP Morgan got fined hundreds of millions of dollars because they got caught manipulating the silver market. There's messages back and forth between employees talking about how they're going to tank it and all this kind of stuff. So they already got caught. Now, why is that important here? Well, what's important is because no one got caught manipulating GameStop. So this means to me, this is a bigger opportunity. This is a much bigger situation. And anyway, silver is way bigger than GameStop. Silver's been around for thousands, well, millions of years. People have been trading it for thousands of years. GameStop has only been around, you know, I can remember it popping up when I was younger. So it's only a couple decades old, maybe at that, but silver has been around before humans. So why have they been shorting silver? Well, a lot of people say it's to get their greedy hands on as much of it as they possibly can. So let's look at these charts really quick. Here's the gold chart, and here's the silver chart right below it. So as you can see, it's a little bit different. Gold already went to a new all-time high. Silver was still lagging way below. If you remember back in 2011, silver went up to $50 an ounce. Luckily, I was in it back then and I cashed a little bit of that in. But apparently what a lot of people are thinking, and I'm thinking, which, you know, like I said, do your own research, that it's gonna go beyond 50 bucks an ounce. At least that's what a lot of people are banking on. So gold is already at a new all-time high. If you look at platinum down here, platinum was first. And if you look back in 2011, platinum peaked, okay, let's switch over to a weekly chart. By the way, this is TradingView. This is the way I set up my chart just so it's easier on the eyes. I make it like a black background and like a neon thing so I can see. Someone said buy AGQ. It moves at double the price of silver. Interesting. Be careful if that's on a margin. Be careful, but yeah, that sounds nice and juicy. I will check that out myself. And at the end too, I have a few more bullet points to hit. At the end, I have a couple symbols that I was gonna throw out there, but hey, you might know more than me. So someone said AG, silver, real silver. Right, there's a couple other ones too. I'm gonna get into that shortly, but thank you for the feedback and the comments. I appreciate that. Okay, so like I was saying, way back here in 2011, you can see this was 2008. Can you see this right here? This was platinum in 2008, but it didn't happen with silver until 2011, and gold hit just right after silver. So they're not exactly timed exactly the same. And what we see here with platinum is that platinum was when everything tanked in March last year, platinum was still way down and didn't really come back up. So that was an interesting find. So they're at a different place. So you want to keep your eye, I'm keeping my eye on all precious metals, but silver is the one that, like I've been saying, for the last over 10 years, I've been researching this, and it seems like it was never going to happen. When is it going to happen? Because a lot of people knew something would happen where silver would eventually rocket. And because it's being manipulated, they've been talking about this for over 10 years. Someone said, so Doug, if you have hypothetical $10,000, oh, you mean if I have $10,000 cash, would I buy SLV? Well, SLV specifically or SILVER? So here's some real physical object. And I would prefer real physical object. However, no, I would not buy SLV. The SLV specifically, that's personally because there's nothing backing it up. It's just some type of Ponzi scheme. I don't know the exact word for it, but I would not personally buy that one. There are some other symbols, though, that supposedly keep physical silver on hand. But what I've heard about SLV is that it's not the way to go. Like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. These are just what I've heard on the internet and some things that I've been doing myself for the past 10 years. Someone said SLV bought 31 million ounce on Friday. Yes, that is another important thing. I can't believe I didn't mention that, but that's kind of what's waking everyone up to like, something's happening. So that was the largest order in the last, if it wasn't the largest order in history, it was the largest order in decades, which, I'm starting to salivate. Exciting. So I've been waiting forever for this to happen, as I'm a little bit excited, but we might have to wait a little bit longer. It seemed like, it's never going to happen. So let me hit my other bullet points first, and then I'll take some more questions. Okay, so what's next? So the Wall Street Bets people on Reddit are starting to discover silver and what's going on. And once you dive in, I've been watching YouTube videos and reading books on this, like I mentioned, for over 10 years. But there's a lot going on right now. There's a couple people that I'm following that talk specifically about silver. But one thing you have to notice is that some of them sell silver. I don't sell silver. Like, I don't have a silver website or something like that. So, now that doesn't mean that what they're saying is wrong, but you at least have to think, okay, these people sell silver on their website. There's a couple people that I'm thinking of. But on the other hand of that, if you're totally all out silver or precious metals and you love it, then yeah, you should sell it. It's a good business to be in. So, you have to think about, is there a bias or not? And I pay attention to some of the channels that I watch out there specifically about precious metals. They have websites selling precious metals. So, when they start talking doom and gloom, you have to remember, and I'm a marketer, so I know behind the scenes what's going on, is that fear sells. So keep that in mind. Fear sells. So I'm not selling silver. I'm not trying to scare the crap out of you. I've been wanting to make a video on this for a long time. And I've talked to people I personally know about this. I've talked to, my friends and family about this over 10 years ago. And then I kind of zipped it for a while because people are rude and ignorant. But now I think this is kind of what seems to me like maybe the last moment to say something, just so I can say, at least I tried to tip you off or tell you before everything happened. But I think, and you know, disclaimer, 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 I already said, I think tomorrow is going to be nutso. And here's why I think that. And I'm straying from my bullet points, but let's check it out on my screen. So the silver price on the screen says $26.98. $26.98. But let's take a look at something called eBay. And a lot of you already know some of this, but I'm just in case you're seeing this for the first time, I want to show you. eBay. Here's eBay. I typed in silver. That's it, all I typed in. Okay, oh, it looks a little bit hard to see on the live screen. So let me just let me zoom in here. So let's check out prices on eBay. So keep in mind, the chart said silver's at $26.98. $26.98. $40 American Eagle. $40? What? Next one, 2 ounce, $80. Now that's sponsored. Okay, a lot of 5 ounce, 188. Okay, let's see what that is. 188 divided by 5. $37. $37 an ounce on eBay. And that's if for 5 ounces. Here's another 1 ounce for $40. Here's another 1 ounce for $41.50. Here's one for $75 plus shipping. I don't know what that is. A Lego for $50 for 1 ounce, $53.99. That's crazy. A lot of 5 American Eagles for $211. Okay, $211 divided by 5. That's $42. So I could do this all day long. Basically, the important thing is the chart says it's worth 26, but human beings are saying it's worth 40. So what is it worth then? 26 or 40? Well, I would say it's worth 40. If you have to go to the silver shop down the street and pay 40 or 41 or 42, then you know you're gonna have to, and there are auctions too online. Let's check out Zip Auctions. Oh, I don't have it pulled up. So there are some auctions online that aren't eBay. And even them, I've been checking out just estate sales and stuff like that. They're still selling for, and last week they were selling for 30, 40, you know, at the lowest 26 that I saw. But when you auction there, then they charge you like a 10 or 20%, and then there's shipping. So you have to keep in mind there's shipping and an auction fee on like estate sales. So what you can see is that last week and next week, I think is totally gonna be different. I think everyone found out this weekend. Everyone found out, and what actually did it was GameStop. GameStop took the blindfold off everyone because, like I mentioned, I've been following this for 10 years. So, and people ridiculed me and didn't listen to me at all at the beginning. And I stopped telling anyone. So I still knew and I've still been following, but I just zipped it and I've been waiting because I knew at some point everyone will find out. And then once everyone finds out, and I think that happened already, Friday with that giant order, that 31 million ounce order that James, thank you for commenting. Some other people are commenting too. Thank you for that. Okay, so let's get into these. Alex said some large seller in Canada is now asking for a minimum $2,000 order? What? Yeah! All right, I'm getting pumped up. So I think tomorrow is going to be insane. I think the local silver shop is going to have a line out the door. I'm not sure if everyone has figured this out yet. Again, I've been following this for a long time, so I was ready to pounce, but I'm curious about the general public. Once the people that have no idea what's going on start getting into it, that's when it's going to get really exciting. It's going to go over 50, and then people are going to still be lining up for it. Because, you know, quantitative easing, remember that? And then QE 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that was why I got into silver to begin with, because of quantitative easing back in 2008. And it was like, uh-oh, they're printing tons of money, and this doesn't look like a good future promise. And then what happened is that luckily it shot up to 50, and I had, you know, I was in already. But okay, let's see here. We've got a lot of comments coming in. Someone said agree. Thank you. You don't have to agree, but I appreciate your feedback anyway. And okay, Anthony said it's in solar panels. That's a good point. I used to bring this up. I used to be a teacher, actually, and I used to talk about this kind of stuff, and that's probably why I got fired, because I was supposed to be teaching English, but I was more interested in silver. But anyway, so yes, that's a great point. Silver is in cell phones, computers, solar panels, electric cars. Hello. Wake up! So the difference between silver and gold is that gold is hoarded. You know, like I've got a bracelet. Okay, so this is a bracelet. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to wear it. But the silver is a little different. Silver gets used up. So like a couple people in the comments mentioned, it gets used in cell phones, it gets used in computers, it gets used in electric cars, solar panels. So the wave of the future is coming, and that's another reason that I think that it was manipulated, because they were hoarding as much as they could get for the solar panels, for the electric cars, for the cell phones, etc. And now, when I first got into this, I remember one of the things I remembered was that like Africa, South America at that point hadn't really gotten cell phones yet. Where, you know, I mean, people had them, but like every single man, woman, and child with a phone, it hadn't happened yet in Africa and South America, and that was 10 years ago. So now I think it's a different story where it's, you know, almost everyone has a cell phone. Even in these other continents, even in remote areas, they're getting them. They're getting internet, they're getting cell phones, definitely, even in remote places. So that was 10 years ago. This is now. Silver is still used up. It's used in all these things. Whereas gold, remember, is just stuck on a shelf, stuck in a safety deposit box, put in a safe, locked up, buried in the yard, throw away the key, whatever. Silver is different. So it's important to keep that in mind. And let me get into some of these other comments. Solar panels, yes, thank you for that. Kenster said, yeah. Kenster says, go to the filter settings and go to sold items on eBay to see the real prices. Yes, that's a good tip. That's a good tip also if you're reselling stuff on eBay. Let me see here. Filter. I forget how to do everything now that I'm live. Filter? Filter? I forgot how to filter, so anyway, I don't want to waste your time since you're watching live. But yeah, where did it go? Anyway, I forgot how to use eBay now that there's pressure on me. But that's fine. I mean, basically, you can tell that the silver prices are way different in real life than they are on the chart. And a lot of this stuff is selling for sure because I bought silver on eBay a million times. Well, not a million times, but the price, the eBay price is what I think the market price is. All right. Someone said, let's see, going through the comments here. Someone said, Linu said, should I buy SLV physically? Well, SLV is not physical. That's just a fund. And a lot of people are saying not to buy the SLV ticker symbol to get, the physical silver. Is that what you're asking? You can get it on eBay, but you have to pay tax. But honestly, sometimes eBay is the best depending on your local situation. If you have a local silver shop still around, there used to be a lot of these back in the day, but some of them closed down. There's still some sprinkled around. So if you find a silver shop, they'll be for spot price. So it's not going to exactly be $26. No, it's going to be more towards the eBay price. You might be able to find it cheaper than eBay at the store. But what I think is that tomorrow, when everything opens again, I think it's going to go nuts. I mean, I'm not 100% on that, what day it's going to, but it seems like that giant order of 31 million ounces happened on Friday. I didn't even hear about it, and I'm pretty plugged in until like Friday night or Saturday. And then, so I found out about it. I'm sharing it. The other people that already know what's going on are probably telling everyone they know this weekend. So I think when the market opens tomorrow on Monday and the stores open back up, that people are going to be lining up to get some silver, physical silver. Once the public finds out, which I think happened this weekend, once the public finds out about this, it's not just going to be fanatics and researchers like me who are in it. Once the average, everyday people, Uber driver is buying silver, soccer mom buying silver, then we're off to the races. And I think that day is coming. So let's see, what other comments have we got here? SLV, okay. Someone said, Anthony says AG is from British Columbia. That's the ticker symbol AG. And SLV is an American company, but I've been warned against them just by other experts. And then, okay, so what are my favorite silver stocks? Anthony asked, great question. I have a little bit, and I only have a little bit because I would rather get it in other ways. And, I mean, compared to, I mean, any extra money I have, I do put a percentage of it into this. But to me, it's only a little bit. I wish I had more, is what I'm saying. I wish I had way, way more. I feel like I barely have any. But at least I have some, I could get whatever I could. And I've had ups and downs in the last 10 years, but luckily I held on to silver at least for the future, but we'll see. So we'll see what happens. And I own a little bit of PSLV because I heard, what's that called? Scott Physical Silver Trust or something like that. The ticker is PSLV. Because that one I heard is different, physical silver backing it up. So what's supposedly wrong with the SLV is that they barely have any physical silver to cover what they're selling. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Alex said, medical silver is infused with face masks and bandages. Wow. Awesome. I didn't even know that much, but that is great. There's also colloidal silver some people take as a supplement, but I don't think that's enough to affect the market. Maybe it is. Anthony said you can't get PSLV on Robinhood. Yeah, I noticed that. I do have a link for Robinhood. I just got it yesterday. I was using other things, but I have a link in the description if you want to get Robinhood. I'll get a free stock and so will you. That's just their little incentive for getting people like me to spread the word on in videos like this. But you can, I also have used Stash, which does not have PSLV, and that doesn't have any. That one only has like a precious metals thing. So yeah, that's it's okay for an app on your phone. I mean, I'm not gonna trash talk it, but it's not the best thing ever. Also, TD Ameritrade is popular, and I've used it, but also they're annoying in some ways as well. So I have like several different ways. You can't get the perfect one. I mean, Robinhood's all right for a brand new person, but you would probably want to level up with something other than that because they have been blocking people from buying GameStop. And, you know, so they might just tomorrow, if silver rockets, Robinhood might say, oops, nope, and say, oh, too volatile, and then block you from buying silver. I don't know what they're going to do. They did it this past week for GameStop, so what's stopping them? And now the reason that they were doing that is because apparently they get their stocks through some supplier, and that supplier was having a problem. So it's not like the stock doesn't come directly from Robinhood. They just have a system where they transact, but there's a middleman somewhere in the background that was causing them to shut it down. Apparently, that's their excuse anyway. Okay, so that looks like all the questions for now. So I talked about the real price. Now let's talk about the gold-silver ratio. And if you stick with me to the end, I'm going to talk about wealth cycles, because that, my friend, that is really the juice. That's really what you want. Wealth is what we want, right? You can't eat silver. So we want it because we think it can make us wealthy, or that we can trade it for something that we need. And what is wealth? Wealth is measured in time, as far as I'm concerned. How long can you survive without a paycheck? That's how to measure wealth. Can you last 1 month? Then you have 1 month of wealth. Can you last 1 year? Then you have 1 year of wealth. So how long can you survive if your job goes away, or if whatever form of income goes away suddenly for whatever reason? Your wealth is how long you can last. Now, that's the definition I go by. I know that's not the same definition that other people go by, but hey, this is my video, so we're talking about how long can we last. So the gold and silver ratio, let's go back to it over here. This is the gold and silver ratio right here. And I have it in its own. Okay, so here's just the gold-silver ratio chart. I don't even think you can see that really because it's all white. So let's go back to this one. So basically it's up here. And you can see that it peaked up here, and the gold-silver ratio was over 125. I think it was 127. And I was sitting there watching it going, whoa! So what that means, what does that even mean? What that means is that for 1 ounce of gold, you could get 127 ounces of silver. Now that was back in, let's see, March last year. Now that's when the silver price tanked and everything. It was down to like $11, but still, that was the chart price. That wasn't the eBay price. You still really couldn't get it for under 20 bucks. So I remember going back in for physical silver at the store back when it had tanked in March or maybe April, and silver might have rebounded to like 17 or 16 bucks an ounce, but at the store it was $20. So there you had a hard time getting it. So the lowest it went that I saw, as far as like getting it from the physical store or eBay, the lowest it went was 20 bucks an ounce as far as I saw. And Alex just said the historical ratio between gold and silver used to be 15-1 for a century. That's what Alex just said. And thank you for the feedback and the input. So that means you could get, for 1 gram of gold, you could get, so this is about a gram, let's say, this bracelet. So for 1 gram of gold, which is now like $2,000, $1,800, $1,900, you could get 15 grams of silver, historically. 15 grams of silver, 1 gram of gold. So if you have 15 grams of silver, you trade it into someone for 1 gram of gold, or 1 ounce, whatever grams, gold, silver, doesn't matter. So 15-1, 15 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. Right now, it's at 68. 68 ounces of silver for 1 ounce of gold. And, you know, last year it went up over 100, which was totally out of control. So what does this all mean for those of you that are just trying to, you know, get some wealth flowing? Here's what you might want to do. Again, disclaimer, blah, 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 legal disclaimer. But maybe you want to do something like this. What you can do, and talk to an accountant about this just to make sure, because I'm not a licensed tax professional, but I heard that you can trade in your precious metals for a different precious metal and there's not a taxable event. So, and again, check with someone just to make sure about this. But I heard if you want to buy a bunch of silver and then when the ratio changes, hello, nice to see you again, salam as well. So yeah, playing the ratio is when the ratio between gold and silver goes down, which means silver compared to gold is up. So when it goes, it's down compared to what it was last year. But I'm thinking when it goes around 50 or lower, I'm guessing that's when a lot of people are gonna start thinking, okay, now is the time. So you would be able, if the ratio went below 50, you would be able to trade in 50 ounces of silver for an ounce of gold at the shop or wherever you can find it, at a swap meet. Peace and love. May the Lord bless you as well. Thank you so much for the positivity. And so that's what we're talking about, the ratio, and then we'll talk about wealth cycles in a minute. So Alex said today you got half the silver you could have last year. Yes, that's true. However, I think now is still a good time personally, and that it's we're about to see the cutoff time in my opinion, and that's just my opinion. So once it goes above 30, and it's already been at 30 at the store for months, it seems. And then what we see on eBay was that it was already above 40 or maybe right below 40. So the real market is already saying that it's up to 40. And I think the market, the fake market that we see on the screen in the matrix will catch on next week. Tomorrow, I think we'll start to see evidence of that. But we'll find out tomorrow morning. I think in the first couple minutes that the market opens, it's gonna get interesting. Very interesting. What's the stock? So Video Games just asked, what's the stock? We're talking about silver. So you could get real silver, or there's PSLV, which is trading at around $9 and something, around $9, and SLV, which I would choose not to get because of various reasons I mentioned. Mainly that I heard they don't have the physical silver to back it up. They don't have enough. But they're the ones that just bought that massive historical 31 million ounce order. It was SLV. So just the SLV symbol, you could get that. That's not the one I choose to get, but and the taxes are different too. Now that's getting a little bit too advanced for this video, but when you get something like SLV and you get taxed for it even though you didn't get the physical silver, but you get taxed on it like you did when you get the capital gains. Again, just make sure the wealthier you get, the more trustworthy your accountant needs to be. And okay, so let's talk about wealth cycles. Wealth cycles is similar to the gold and silver ratio in my mind. So what it is, it's the ratio between precious metals and something such as real estate, another asset class. This is where it gets really interesting. So what we want the wealth cycle to do, it happens every several years, and it takes a while. The cycles take, real estate cycles used to take about 8 years, 6 to 10 years. They're a little bit slow to move up and down because, real estate is big, it costs a lot of money, takes a lot of time to purchase it, takes a lot of time to sell it. So it kind of moves slowly. It's much easier to sell a coin. Just take it to someone and either sell it on eBay or take it to the shop and sell it. And again, I should mention this too for any newbies. The We Buy Gold shops, probably not the best place to sell your stuff to because they're going to give you, or a pawn shop, don't go to a pawn shop. Pawn shops are going to give you a flake of what it's worth. I think they're going to give you about 30% or so, which is absolutely garbage. You want to, if you're selling your silver, eBay is not bad to sell, although you're going to have to pay PayPal and you're going to have to pay eBay. So when all is said and done, keep in mind that you're going to be losing about 10% because of eBay, PayPal, and all the fees. But that might still be worth it, depending on when you bought. So if you're not in a place with a physical store to go buy and sell, then eBay could be good, even with the rip-off PayPal fees. Sometimes it makes sense to get it on eBay. And I have used eBay before. And especially, if I was out in the middle of nowhere, now I live in a good spot. There's a silver store nearby, but I didn't used to always be like that. So eBay could be good. You're going to pay that little bit more premium, but the seller has to cover their PayPal fee, so they're not losing money. So Falah asked the question, does food affect the person's physiology? if someone is toxic and eating junk food. So just so the other people watching, I do a lot of videos on health and natural health. So that's why people often tune in and ask me health questions. So that makes sense. It's a little off topic with the silver, but I'll answer that at the end just because I want to stay on topic for the people live that want to know about silver. But thank you for asking. And also, if you want to know more about health, I do Q&As often on Sundays where I answer a lot of health questions, and it's underground info. So just like I've been into silver for over 10 years, I've been into a lot of really interesting things that are being suppressed as well. So subscribe if you want more info, almost secret info, actually. I only share info on this channel that I think is very, very important, that I think will make a huge impact in your life. Alrighty, now let's get back to jewelers also buy gold and silver. But what you want to do is you want to sell at a shop for as close to the melt price as you can. Thank you, and bless you as well, and love and respect to everyone watching. So the silver shop that you're selling it at should give you, ideally, the full melt value. There used to be a silver shop I went to back in the day that would just give you exactly how much silver was at right then. And that's nice. That was great. Now, some other places, they might give you a little bit less than the melt, because then, you know, when they close later that day, they have to take whatever they got in and they go and liquidate it at a, at their supplier. Does that make sense? So the stock, do you think PSLV is gonna move in the market? Yeah, I definitely do. It's gonna go, I think it's gonna go nuts, just like everything else. And it's only about $9 and something a share. So what you're doing with silver, it's the percentage that it's gonna go up that we're looking for, that we're all hoping for. And it's because it's been artificially shorted for so long. And the reason that we're talking about this now is that people finally understand what this means because of GameStop. They kind of, it's fresh in their mind. It's going on right now. I also bought a little bit of GameStop just to ride the, just to support the cause, because it's a kind of activism, really. These people are activists trying to fight back against these giant organizations. That's what I feel is going on. Video Games asked, what's the realistic price you think it could hit? Well, I'm expecting it to go over 50, because 50 was the old all-time high. Also, I want to mention something really important here called Elliott waves. Elliott wave theory. This is a book called Elliott Wave Principle by Frost and Precher. So these two guys, one of them was the guy's professor, and the other one was a younger guy. And this is about Elliott waves. So if you want to know more about investing as far as the chart goes, now I'll make this really simple. I don't want to lose anyone here, but there's fundamental investing and technical investing, and they're different. Fundamental investing is like Warren Buffett does, where he finds out, he interviews the management, he scours their financial records, market research, financials. And, you know, boring research, that's seeing if the company is a good buy. That's the fundamentals. There's another way of investing, though, called technical analysis. And that's just purely going off of the chart. Just the chart itself, not about the underlying asset. So you can see how those two are different. Does that make sense to anyone that maybe didn't know about that already? So Elliott Wave, and this is just the book, this is the book I read 4 years ago about that, but I have a few other books on it too. So Elliott waves say that, and this is based on Dow theory. He's the one that came up with the waves, the theory on the waves. So basically what Elliott was saying, and Elliott wasn't a mathematician, he was a some other type of scientist, but he observed this in nature, that there's a progress and a step back, and a progress and a step back. So Elliott mapped all this out to where there are impulsive waves that are going up, and they usually have 5 waves up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a correction. So as you can see here, let's look at gold. That kind of looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up, and then look at that correction. Wah, wah, wah. But look at this hole here. This was all a correction. That flat area right there, that came after the impulsive wave. So we've got impulsive waves going up, and then they've got to correct. Now it's foolish, and it's a really beginner mistake to just hold on to something and expecting it to go up forever. And you know, Bitcoin people or some other people that might not understand what's going. I'm not picking on, you know, Bitcoin people might understand more than me and more than someone else. I'm just saying, like, newbies in investing might not understand that there's going to be a correction. It's going to happen no matter what on everything. There's never just a full progress rocket, rocket, rocket. Even, you know, I had a thing on Tesla and stuff like that. It's got to come down. So the cool thing about Elliott waves is that if you can count the waves, and this is all based on math, it's all based on like the Fibonacci mathematical phenomena that exist in nature. And that's all. If you know me from my other videos, you know I'm all about it. I'm all about that kind of thing. Finding out what's going on in nature and then aligning myself with it. That's the way to have easy success, instead of going against the grain, which I used to do when I was younger. So, okay, here's a good example of the waves. So definitely check out this book or something like it. This one is called Elliott Wave Principle. I probably bought it for $4 used. And you know, who knows how much this could make you in the future. So this might be the motivator that gets you studying, investing more, and then maybe in the future you'll be able to make way more money, not just on silver, but on anything because of the waves. But you know, it's not foolproof. It can be challenging, and you don't exactly know what's going to happen, but this can at least give you some weapons to understand things that not everyone understands. And basically the market is all psychology, which is my background anyway. I studied psychology for over 15 years. So the waves, like what we're looking at on the screen, is actually showing psychology, believe it or not. Because people are either buying or selling or shorting and it's all people. Well, there are bots now involved, so. All right, let's see. So the wealth cycle, let me talk about the wealth cycle before the end because this is really important. Thank you so much for tuning in, by the way. A couple people thumbs it up already. If you're watching and you're getting value, please thumbs it up. I appreciate that. I'm not making money on this channel yet, but I would like to with your help, and I'll keep giving you as much value as I can muster. That's my dedication to you. So the wealth cycle is basically you want to wait until real estate goes down and gold goes up. So then what you'll have, I don't have I'll draw this for you really quick. Got my iPad right here. Okay, let me draw this for you on my trusty iPad, because the wealth cycle is really easy to understand if you just see it. Okay, so let me find a notepad. Do I have any notepads on here? Right when I go to show someone something, that's when suddenly... All right. My Apple Pencil is dead. And I can charge it in 20 seconds, so... Oh, thank you. I see some more people gave it a thumbs up. I appreciate that. That helps me to spread the news, the good news. And actually, the more people that know about this silver ordeal, that it's overly shorted, then the more people entering the market is going to boost the price. I mean, I'm not trying to manipulate the market with this video because I barely have a following as far as that's concerned. You would need millions and millions of people to influence the silver market because it's a huge market. Okay, so while my Apple Pen is charging, here we go. All right. Thank you for bearing with me. I usually don't draw things live, but okay, here we go. Well, this is... Okay. With all... So, let me see. I'll make two different colored lines here. This one's going to be blue. Okay. So, let's say this is precious metals. Let's just say gold or silver, since we're talking about silver. And so let's say that is silver. And we'll say red is real estate. So let's just say just for an example's sake, that this is what the charts look like. And you can actually go to the silver chart and the real estate chart and actually get the real charts of where they're at. So this is right now. Let's say that's right now. Okay? Well, this is what you want. When silver or gold is up and when real estate is down, you can cha-ching sell your precious metals for real estate. That's the way to quantum leap, the wealth cycle. Now, this doesn't happen every year. This doesn't happen every month. This takes a long time to play out, but I think that it's going to be the next couple years is going to be this. I'm expecting real estate to tank. I could do a video on that. Maybe I'd have to do some research, but just off of everything that's been going on, I've been expecting. And for me, I'm always early on this kind of thing. So I'm usually early and I usually have to wait. But when real estate tanks, people are going to be freaking out. And real estate investors are going to be, crying their eyes out. People that have been jumping into these extremely low interest rates. And last year, I was looking for houses. I was shopping for real estate. I took some videos of that and never posted them. But if you want to see stuff like that on this channel, let me know in the comments. I didn't post anything like that yet, but I was looking at real estate all over the state, and it just seemed like there was nothing good, and that everyone had been buying like crazy. And what I was thinking the whole time, what in the world is everyone buying for right now? It seems like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. When the economy is in the disaster zone and crazy stuff is happening, people are running out and buying real estate. I don't know. To me, I just thought seems foolish. That people a lot of first-time home buyers would run out and buy their first real estate in the middle of a crisis when they are not guaranteed any job or income in the future, when the economy just totally changed and no one's exactly sure what's going to happen. So I think that all of these new buyers and everything is all just going to come crumbling down in the next year or so. And I'd been hearing that before the you-know-what happened. I'd been hearing we're due for a real estate crash in 2019, all year. I was expecting it. And then all this happened and it didn't crash. Wow. And because everyone ran out and bought real estate. So, and part of that was because people didn't want to be locked down inside a tiny apartment or whatever. A lot of people exited big cities and went to the country. But I think this is going to be very interesting in the next couple years. And we're going to want to keep your eyes peeled on that wealth cycle. And that's something that no one talks about. So you might have heard it for the first time. I know it sounds really simple. Wealth cycle. It's a simple concept. So, there we went again. So that's it from me for this video. If you have any questions, I will answer them. And I think I got to all my bullet points. Yes, I did. So if you have any questions, now is a good time. And I will answer. And if not, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up. I appreciated all the feedback, and I will be coming out with more videos. I mostly make videos about health and wealth because that's the most important thing I could talk about, and I don't waste my time. I respect your time. I respect my own time, and I only want to talk about things that have a really big impact and that I think no one is talking about out there. So there you have it. There's a bunch of things to consider in this video. If you're just seeing this for the first time, you want to do a lot more research, definitely. There are a lot of different books you can read. You might not want to jump into anything if you just started reading about this. But if you feel like gambling, then that's up to you. Because if you don't understand what you're doing, it's gambling. But if you know it's gambling and that's okay with you, then that's fine. I'm not saying gambling is always bad. It's just, it's bad to think you're investing when you're gambling. So if you're actually speculating and you've been saying that you've been investing, on some things I speculate, but gold and silver I've researched for, like I said, over 10 years, and I feel like that's plenty of research. So there's a lot of info online that you can get. If you have any questions for me, let me know. There have been a lot of good questions. Let me go through here and see if I missed any. Very impatient to see the silver price tomorrow morning. Yeah, me too. Well, I've been waiting so long that that now, I've been patient for about 10 years, so we'll see. Thank you for tuning in, Murat, if that's the way to pronounce it. Z-Boy, welcome back as always. Thank you for watching. Growagon, thank you so much for the feedback. Anthony and James and Zlayton. James again, Alex, Kenster, Joshua, Linu. Wow, we've got a lot of people that tuned in and commented. Mirage, Falah. Yeah, I think Diego, video games, DeFi Club. Oh, I didn't see their comment. Gold is at 1800, silver can be 50. Yeah, I think it's going to go, expecting it to go beyond 50, but I think 50 is when it starts to get really juicy, because that was its old all-time high. And if you study Elliott waves, like I'm mentioning, and this isn't the only book, there's a lot of info, and you don't have to read a book. There's YouTube videos about Elliott waves. If you really like that idea, I could do a video just about Elliott waves in the future. If you want to see that, let me know in the comments. But let me show you a simple example of what's going to happen if so let's say it goes up to 50. Well, it's going to come, let's say it goes above 50, it's going to come back down to the old high, which was 50. So, I mean, it took its sweet time. Here is the all-time high, which was in 2011. And here was the high before then, which was in 1980. So once it shoots up, above 50, it's going to go up to, I don't know what, but then it's going to come back down to 50, because that's how Elliott waves usually work. Now, it might not come all the way down and touch 50. It might come down and like sit on top of 50 for a while before it goes back up, or it'll come back just almost and then rocket. It depends on how bullish everyone is. So, but I'm expecting it to go above 40 and come back, above 50 and come back and sit on 50. So what you could do, you could wait till it breaks out. So if it breaks above 50, that's a breakout. And if it's a clean break, which means it didn't just peep above and go back down, but if it's a clean break and it breaks over 50, that's the first signal. And you can set an alert here. For example, this is TradingView. I'm not affiliated with them. This is just what most people use, other than whatever they're trading on, if they're trading on Ameritrade or something. But TradingView is nice because you can customize the chart. So you can customize here. I'm going to come and put an alert right here, and you can add an alert for silver at 50 and 10 cents. So basically, if silver goes above 50, and actually I should have done that on the daily chart. On the daily chart. Okay, so if silver goes above 50 on the daily chart, I'm going to delete this one on the weekly. Okay, so there's still an alert. No, never mind. Okay, so there's an alert I just set. So once it breaks above 50, I'll get alerted, so that you don't have to be sitting here and watching, your screen all the time. But then what I'm expecting to happen, once it goes above 50, and I don't know, it might go up to 60, 70, I'm not sure. Then it's going to come back down and retest 50. So it's going to go above and then it's going to come back down and try. That's usually what happens. It's not a guarantee, but that's usually what happens. And then that's the good buying opportunity that I would be looking for if you're just getting in. But then again, if you're just getting in, I would do way more research than that. Alex said, if paper goes berserk, I only trust physical. Hold it in your hand. Yep. I feel pretty much the same way, although I have a little bit just to, yeah, for some reason, just in case. Someone said they messaged me on, Z-Boy messaged me on Facebook. Okay, I've been off of Facebook for over a week. Sorry about that. If it's urgent, then text me. And, I do have some one-on-one clients for anyone else watching, so that's what that's all about. So yeah, I've been avoiding Facebook like the plague. So if it's something important, text me if you have my number. If not, email, and I will see it daily. And if you want consulting, there's a link in the description. I really don't do consulting about silver, but check out my channel and see what it's all about if you're just tuning in for the first time. Inspreneur said Fibonacci explained in a visual way. Right, yes, Fibonacci all day. What is Fibonacci? Well, it's someone's name. It's basically a mathematician who found a series of numbers that are naturally showing up in nature. Like I mentioned about the Elliott waves, it's all about nature. Nature has a natural rhythm, and if you align yourself with nature, it can really help you. For one, it'll teach you that not everything is just going to go up forever like a bull market until the end of time. No, it's going to correct, and it usually corrects after 5 impulses up. But that's not always the case. That's why I recommend doing more research. But it's good to know about Elliott waves and Fibonacci, because once you studied it and once you can see it, it'll always be in your mind, and you'll be able to notice it. Like, you'll be able to notice patterns. And pattern recognition is one of my strong points. So luckily, this is a good way to take advantage of that. Alrighty. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you the people that gave a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you for everyone giving feedback and asking questions. Some of you mentioned some things that I forgot to mention that were really important. I appreciate that as well. I went over all of my things I wanted to talk about. So that is that. If you have any more questions, now is the time to ask before I get going. Make sure to subscribe and tune in for the next live. I love the interaction. Again, we're talking happiness, health, and wealth. And my theory recently is that health plus wealth equals happiness. But not exactly. But that's a good general rule of thumb, that without health, just wealth, that's better than none. But health, to me, is the most important thing, because I've been sick in the past, and if you don't know my story, I'm lucky that, it's not really luck, but I'm thankful that I survived that, because it's not a guarantee. So I'm thankful. That's why I'm so strict with my time now, because we're not guaranteed a life. That's why we talk about health so much. Someone said, check out the YouTube link. It's a guided tour explaining Fibonacci and the gold ratio. Yes, awesome. I don't see a link, but I've definitely already researched that kind of stuff myself, and maybe I'll make a video about it too for my channel. Thanks for the heads up. Fibonacci and golden ratio. I've been into that kind of stuff since I was 17 or 18. It's all becoming very relevant and useful. All my research is paying off, finally. So do your research, do your due diligence. It definitely pays off. You can save a lot of money. Dan Pena says, well, I think his mentor told him, the more you inspect, the less you invest, which means inspect more and more and more. Sometimes you can just save your money. It's not always good to just invest in everything. It's good to inspect, invest, do the research, because you might find out, ugh, I wouldn't touch that investment with a 10-foot pole. Find that out, just cut it loose and walk away. And you saved your money. Congratulations. Because money saved is money earned. Thank you so much. And on that note, I'm going to sign out. Have an amazing day on purpose. And we'll see you in the next video. Peace.